There was a striking and unhappy illustration of the way that Bengalis are taking their revenge at a meeting held at Dhaka's stadium to honour the heroes of the Mukti Bahini. Abdul Qadir Siddiqui, once an ordinary soldier in the East Bengal Regiment, raised and led 12,000 guerrilla fighters in a large area surrounding Dhaka. In his speech, the hero of Tangail, as he's known, vowed that his men would not lay down their arms until Sheikh Mujibur Rahman came safely back from his prison in West Pakistan. But he appealed to his men, who stood with rifles and machine guns policing the meeting, not to take revenge on those who had oppressed them and not to flaunt their arms in the streets. As he spoke, 5 men, said to have been caught looting and abducting some women, were brought to the back of the rostrum. They were bound and beaten by Siddiqui's men. They clung desperately to an officer whom he had asked to put a stop to the violence. But the violence didn't stop, and along with other television crews, the ITN team left the scene. Moments later, General Siddiqui himself, who had earlier urged restraint on the crowd and promised the prisoners a fair trial, himself took a rifle and helped bayonet them to death, firing a bullet to finish off one man. It's not surprising that the 24,000 Pakistani prisoners of war now in Dhaka's cantonment should fear the Bengalis' vengeance. That's why, until now, they've been allowed to keep their weapons. The Indian Army was not certain it could protect them. But at last, at a formal ceremony, the officers of Pakistan's Army, Navy and Air Force laid down their arms. It was a somewhat theatrical event. General Gandharv Nagra assured the officers that they would be treated with the utmost correctness according to the Geneva Convention.
We shall provide all protection and safety. No measures of reprisals would be taken. Free boarding, messing, medical facilities will be provided to you all and all your rank.
Then, on the command of their own senior officer present, General Mohammed Jamshed, the leaders of Pakistan's defeated army laid their pistols, Sten guns and rifles on the grass in the final token of surrender. I asked the Pakistani Chief of Staff, Brigadier Baghir Siddiqui, what he'd felt about the ceremony.
Well, it's all right. Part of the game, I suppose.
It didn't cause you any qualms?
Well, you know, you can understand our feelings. But as the General said, this does happen, and so people have to play the game, and I think it's a part of the game. We have to accept it in good grace.
Why did you, in the end, surrender?
Because for the consideration of the human lives.
Could you have fought on?
We could have fought on for a long time, not less than 30 days.
With due military ritual, the war in the East had been brought to its ceremonial conclusion. Richard Lindy, News at 10, Dhaka.